Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today to discuss the catastrophic damage done to the United States Virgin Islands suffered from two Category 5 hurricanes, Irma and Maria. I came here before you to personally ask for your help and your support in recovering. Simple things we normally take for granted, running water, cell phone services, electricity, a hot meal, remain unavailable to many of our citizens. More than 15,000 homes were damaged or destroyed, and virtually all of our power distribution infrastructure was wiped out. Power remains limited, with power connections across the Virgin Islands at a mere 27%. Can you imagine a community here on the mainland going without power for over 6 weeks? In addition to the physical destruction, our economy has ground to a near halt. Few businesses are opening, and those that have reopened with significantly reduced services. We have estimated that the economic losses to our key industries, including tourism, stand at more than $1.7 billion over the next 3 years. Damage to commercial facilities stand at almost $1 billion. We estimate uninsured hurricane-related damages to the public sector to exceed $7.5 billion. I have requested that amount in federal disaster assistance to enable us to address our most essential needs in order to return to normalcy. Unless you want to see me back here after the next major hurricane devastation of America's paradise, we must build it back stronger and more sustainable than before. This is the 5th time that the U.S. government is paying to rebuild this power distribution system in the Virgin Islands. With your help, we plan to bury power lines on the primary and secondary road systems throughout the territory and invest in a microgrid system that will add renewable generation capacity like solar and wind energy. It's not just power lines we need to approach differently. Irma and Maria completely devastated our critical healthcare infrastructure, destroying our two main hospitals and affiliated healthcare facilities. Today, critical care is unavailable in the Virgin Islands. The recovery funds we're seeking will help rebuild these two main hospitals on St. Thomas and St. Croix and a healthcare facility on St. John. The Virgin Islands is also physically disadvantaged because of the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services using decades-old benchmarks and methodologies. Our citizens, American citizens, have suffered terrible losses, dislocation, and distress in the wake of these storms. Our recovery will be long and difficult. Virgin Islanders understand and accept our responsibility for being in front of our rebuilding communities, but we cannot do it alone. We cannot squander this opportunity to rebuild a better and stronger and more resilient Virgin Islands to simply rebuild it quickly. If we do, we will only compound the suffering that so many of our citizens have endured. With your support, that won't happen. Thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting your fellow American citizens in the U.S. Virgin Islands.